Hey there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. And I've got Kella here with me today, and we're going to talk about a book by an author you have probably heard of, or maybe you've read stuff by her before, but this is actually her brand new book, and I'm really, really excited and happy to be talking about it today because I absolutely loved it. So this author is one of those authors that her original trilogy that she came out with many, many years ago, when I first started getting into reading YA books, it's always been a favorite of mine. I just love the writing, and because of that, I've always strived to read whatever else she writes, no matter what genre it is. The original trilogy she wrote was a fantasy series. A couple of the things she's written since then are like more contemporary. This book is absolutely awesome. So the author I'm talking about is Kristin Cashore, and this book is called There Is a Door in This Darkness, which it's a really cool, striking cover, right? There is a door in this darkness. So like I said, her original series that she came out as a trilogy called Graceling. She's written a few more books in that series since the original trilogy came out. She's got another book that's like a contemporary mystery sort of with some magical elements. And this is just a plain, I say plain, it's contemporary fiction with a little bit of a hint of magic to it. So not plain, but not really fantasy either. Sort of like a little bit of magical realism to it as well. So if you're a person that doesn't really like fantasy and you know Kristin Cashore because of her fantasy novels, don't worry. This book is a lot more grounded and down to earth than her other books, but still a little bit of magic to it. So this book, I think, is a really fantastic book to read right now in this day and time because it takes place in 2020. Now, the main character of this book, her name is Wilhelmina, and she graduated high school in 2020. This year, she just graduated high school. So like so many people who graduated high school in 2020, right, COVID was going on. So she has put her college, dreams on hold for just a little while she's living at home with her parents, waiting to, for things to be a little bit safe again. So she has just graduated. Her two aunts are living with her as well. And she's also suffering from grief because a third aunt that she was very, very close with died very recently as well. And she's still dealing with the grief for that. So on top of all of that, you've got the election, right? The 2020 election, which we remember was very charged, right? It's very charged. A lot of high emotions running on both of the sides of the political spectrum, right? So this is a really good book to read right now. If you're feeling, I think this is going to appeal to a wide variety of people, but I specifically think that it's going to really appeal to people who are feeling a lot of anxiety about the election coming up this fall. Because there is a door in the darkness. The title literally is talking about finding hope in really, really dark times, okay? So the author is very, very clear where her political affiliations lie. This is a very liberal-minded book. So if you are particularly, voting that way, you will feel a lot of the same things that these characters are feeling. And you will feel really like you're not alone, I think, right? Because even though it might be a little bit tricky to read a book about the pandemic and about an election, pandemic is not all the way gone yet, right? People are still getting COVID and there's another election coming up. It might be tricky to read about stuff like this, but also at the same time, it's very, very cathartic. Like, I've been feeling very anxious lately about all this stuff going on politically, and reading this book, to me, really felt like somebody was offering me a hand and saying, hey, you're not alone. Other people are feeling this way too, even if they're just characters in a book, right? So where does the little bit of magic come in, right? So like I said, she's dealing with the upcoming election. She's dealing with COVID. Wilhelmina is dealing with grief because her aunt has died. Well, she starts getting these clues that only she can see, and they keep leading her in different directions. And at first she is incredulous and doesn't really, believe what's happening. But then she really starts to think that her aunt, Frankie, is leaving her messages. So she's going to follow them to see what message that Frankie is trying to tell her. And you know, a lot of the themes in this book are about hope and holding on when things feel really dark and scary, and basically how to help ourselves recover from grief and some of these other darker feelings. So a really incredible book. The writing is fantastic. I thought the dialogue between Wilhelmina and her other two aunts and her family and her two best friends that live nearby was all just really fantastic. And like I said, the author, I think it will appeal to a wide variety of people, but particularly if you are feeling a lot of anxiety about the upcoming election, and if you are, you know, on one side of the political spectrum than the other, I think this book will really, really resonate with you. And it's a lot of fun, too, because of the little bit of magic element in it as well. So, if you are already a fan of Kristin Cashore, I think this is a wonderful, wonderful book to read. You will recognize her incredible wit and wonderful writing skills. And if you haven't read anything by her, give this one a shot. Maybe you will discover your new favorite writer. There is a door in this darkness. Well, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that this book sounds really interesting and that you want to give it a shot. If so, please feel free to come check it out from Farmington Community Library. And also, thank you so very much for watching, friends. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week.